Regresamos a Yo Soy 132 TV.
Gracias por estar con nosotros en Yo Soy 132 TV. Lolita.
¿Qué tal? Qué bueno que nos siguen acompañando. Los integrantes de la coalición en Los Ángeles nos hablan de la xenofobia y de la política migrante tanto en México como en los Estados Unidos. Vamos al video.
Okay, today we're here with members of CHIP, la Coalición Humanitaria Internacional Pro Inmigrante de Estados de California. We have Jeff Green, Maribel Núñez, Evan Heimlich, and Antonio Arias. So let me begin. As an American, what message would you send back to the people regarding racism and xenophobia in North America?
I think that it's an issue that's, epidemic in America that, we need to address. Until we address that, we're going to be stuck with so many other problems that, we can't effectively deal with because we're divided based on, nonsense. And so I think it's vital that we, have a national conversation about it and really define what it is and why it is that we, seem to harbor these irrational feelings about people. It's inspirational to me. I think that, given the economic conditions and the circumstances he's working in, it's, to me, so beautiful that, he's been able to do what he's doing. And, I wish that we could all enjoy and do such beautiful work.
Well, I know that I have seen various work presentations, testimonies of women that have been raped. They're expected to take birth control pills, and as they're migrating here, there's expectation they're going to get, raped, not only by one man, but multiple men. And so going through the journey, going through Mexico, and if they arrive in the U.S. and to be deported and to go through that again, I can't imagine. As a woman, I can't imagine going through that. And so I really appreciate that there are people out there like Father Solalinde that are creating a safe house for these migrants and giving the opportunity to stay, be safe, and then if the opportunity comes, they can migrate back if they wish to the U.S.
The biggest trend in the United States is definitely targeted towards, Mexico and people of Mexican descent, but there are, people from many different places that migrate here, but Mexico is close, and Mexico has a huge border with us, and, with acts like NAFTA and, the history of, who said it, or Mexico, so far from God and so close to the United States. And it's, I think, because of the way we frame it, our own sort of generalizations about, race and ethnicity, we tend to, I think, target people, from Mexico and not Canadians.
What we've seen in the recent migrations here in the U.S., we're looking at now more of a higher influx of migrants of Asian descent, even more than Latinos. And so we are seeing recently those changes, but again, it's something that we've had a diverse group of different ethnicities that have been migrating here. And so there's been various coalitions like the Black Alliance Network, other groups that focus on also migrants coming from Africa, for example.
Just recently, right here in Corona, the immigration has been going into restaurants at lunchtime and pulling people out and deporting them. So I guess one answer to your question might be people who eat.
Wow.
Sure, yeah. I just wanted to talk about the way that the issue gets framed because we first got involved helping with Mexicali, and Antonio's been working on that for years, and then we got involved just really over the last year or so. But that's an issue that's centered on the border with the U.S. and Mexico, and is very relevant to immigration policy in this country. But Solalinde is based down in Oaxaca, and he's more concerned with newly arrived immigrants in Mexico, and they're coming primarily from Guatemala and Honduras, or at least those are some of the most vulnerable people. And I just wanted to say that the issue of migration is actually even bigger than that, because before there were modern nations, there was a need for people to escape from drought or warfare, and for them to be able to go where they thought that they would be able to do better. And that need has persisted, but the presence of modern nations and the trouble that's going on with capitalism now is making it much harder, and the gangs that are taking advantage of capitalism in some of the most brutal ways are making the problem quite a lot more difficult for just people, human beings, who need to go from one place to another.
Desde mi punto de vista, Lolita, Jeff Green tiene mucha razón, toda vez que la xenofobia siempre va a hacer referencia al odio, al recelo, a la hostilidad y al rechazo hacia los extranjeros que se encuentran en cualquier país, en este caso México y los Estados Unidos. Lolita.
La palabra también suele utilizarse en forma extendida con la fobia hacia los grupos étnicos diferentes o hacia las personas cuya fisonomía social, cultural y política se desconoce. ¿Qué te parece, Agustín, si continuamos con la entrevista a los integrantes de CHIP Internacional?
Me parece muy bien, Lolita. Adelante.
Where do you see immigration reform now in the current administration, and can you give us an idea of how that will look?
Well, there's two proposals out there. The Gang of Eight, which is the bipartisan Senate bill, and there are both Republicans and Democrats that put something together. They had came out one day before the president will sit out to do a press conference, putting out there that he will be supporting an immigration reform bill. The Gang of Eight, when you look at the provisions of that proposal, we're looking at a lot of emphasis on border security and using technology of drones, making E-Verify mandatory. The path to citizenship will be a long and arduous one. Like we're talking about 10 years, it might be even longer than that, what we're looking at. And there are some special provisions for, child arrivals, legal status would be regularization of legal status will be an option as well. And then also the guest worker program is something that they had included in emphasis in agricultural jobs and low-skilled workers. There's similarities with what the president is putting compared to the Gang of Eight. What we have seen with the president, some of the similarities is the drones and E-Verify, and some of the key differences is really putting aggressive sanctions against the employers. Also, making sure that there's modernization of the immigration system, and really pushing. One of the good things that we saw was the inclusiveness of same-sex couples, and so we look at there's both proposals we do see emphasis on security, and that the path to citizenship is pretty long, and that will be very impactful. Economically impactful in our communities, because a lot of these fees are not affordable, and so there was no language about how affordable it will be in the process and all of that. And so I think that as Antonio was saying, that we are in favor of an immigration reform bill that would relate to keeping families together.
An example of Solalinde's bravery, though, I think can bring us further towards a solution, because he puts his life at risk to do what he does, and that's an example to those of us who maybe we have the ability to.
Fíjate, Lolita, que es muy difícil ver que todavía en el mundo, en todas partes, se da esta situación de xenofobia. Es una ideología que consiste en el rechazo de las identidades culturales que son diferentes a la propia. A diferencia del racismo, la xenofobia se plantea aceptar a los extranjeros e inmigrantes siempre que se cumpla con su asimilación sociocultural. Es decir, dice la gente, bueno, para que yo te acepte, necesariamente tienes que ser como yo, tienes que tener ciertas características y aceptar lo que es mi cultura. Si tú tratas de imponer mi cultura o eres diferente de otros rasgos, te rechazo por completo. Por esa razón es de suma importancia, Lolita, que tratamos de promover una cultura en la cual la gente se acepte porque somos diversos en el mundo.
Sí, necesitamos mucha educación en México, sobre todo porque en el sur de México, donde está pasando esta situación con el padre Solalinde y con los inmigrantes de Centroamérica y Sudamérica, no hay una sociedad que los apoye. Solo pasan nuestro país, cruzando nuestro país para venir a este país, y no es posible que los ataquen de esa manera, que los condenen y sacrifiquen.
Pues como lo vimos en el primer video de arranque del programa de Yo Soy 132, inclusive los acusa la misma gente mexicana de ser un foco de infección. ¿Qué pasó, mexicanos? No podemos tratar a nuestros semejantes de esa manera, a nuestros hermanos latinoamericanos. Al presidente impuesto, a Enrique Peña Nieto, le hacemos un atento llamado para que cree leyes, para que cree una cultura de integración humanitaria, de una integración que acepte a las personas. Solamente es una situación de transmigración, es decir, de un proceso de paso. Entonces, Lolita, ¿qué te parece si vamos a unos consejos comerciales y después seguimos comentando lo que viene pasando, lo que vienen enfrentando las personas de Centroamérica por su paso por México, esta desgracia?
Ok, vamos, no se despeguen de su televisor.
Estás viendo Yo Soy 132 TV. En un momento continuamos.